Hello viewers and welcome to a brand new season of Anzenmezzeron Hell Games, where I will showcase actual plays of Magna-Gothica Maleghast. In this episode, Volvadani vs Gargamox, with Salt, Lord of Scum, as Volvadani, and Anzen as Gargamox. It has been a while, hasn't it? A very long while. 3 new houses have emerged, plenty of balance updates, and the Maleghast community just kept on expanding. As you have seen from the thumbnail, we will be running Roll20 for this match, but don't worry, like the last one, this season will be run using both Roll20 and Tabletop Simulator. The Maleghast mod for the Tabletop Sim has seen plenty of upgrades too for the last couple years. We will check it out very soon. Speaking of the map, we will be running West Corp Cistern from Games for Freaks Volume 3 Special Haunt, which have a lot of elevated platforms. Problem is, most of those platforms are consisted of body piles that want to rip whoever that's standing on them apart. Fail the dice roll, and you will take damage and be unable to use the rest of your move for the turn. Still, elevated platform is elevated platform. As for the Black Mass, let's talk about the Volvadani first, the newest house in the game. The Volvadani has 2 things going for them: the ability to impose the law on your foe for specific actions, turning them into criminals, which Volvadani units often has bonus effect against, and Burst, a tag for certain action that basically lets you repeat them in a turn, but only if you have enough burst, and should you run out, you can no longer use that same action again until you gain back burst somehow. In summary, Volvadani is like a battery, powerful when they have burst to take actions explosively, but extremely vulnerable when they run out, and layered this with bonus effects from utilizing the Tithe Law mechanic is very important for Volvadani players. In this match, Salt runs a Black Mass consisted of 2 Mancatcher with Wicked Chain that likes to pull people in from afar, 2 Frenzied Bobbies to hold down criminals and smack them, 1 Slithering Cultist also from GFF3 coming in as a merc, that can buff allies or curse enemies with the same action, and the Praetor with Fueled by Hate to use burst ability even after running out at the cost of pain, Serve Warrant for more guilt, Judicator Cannon for big gun purpose, Purified Corpse Oil to give bursts to allies, and De Jure Proxy to transfer guilt and pain from a fallen foe to another. On the other side, Anzen runs a Black Mass consisted of 2 Belchers from GFF2 with Putrefy to puke hazards everywhere, 1 Rotten with Smog Shroud to take advantage of the puke, 1 Leech with Massive Swell to turn others into living bombs, 2 Hosts with Defiler for even more hazards, and the Plague Lord with Pollution Shroud to embrace the puke, Melt to, well, melt foes into a puddle, and Unholy Vapor to make people puke their guts out from all the pukes on the ground. With the combatants introduced, let's start the match with the initiative roll, and Volvadani got the first one, and with all units on field, let's begin round 1. First, the Volvadani declares a law, Contempt of the Court. Any unit that doesn't end their turn adjacent to a Volvadani is declared guilty. This is powerful and almost a guarantee on a map like this, or with opposing Black Mass built for range and wants to keep their distance, like this one. One of the Mancatchers goes first, immediately sends out its chain on a Belcher. This miss but graze, which still punches out all its blood. Unfortunately, it's still alive in a sense. Then the Mancatcher does it again with burst, punching all the blood out of the other Belcher. This sounds powerful, but it's now out of burst and can only use Spinecracker from here on. Gargamox gains 2 souls from this. Then the Mancatcher gains back 2 bursts because of make quota, but the Belcher hasn't even taken their turn yet, so they can't be guilty. This will have detrimental effect on the match later on. The bottom host throws out all the rats for all the hazards, and gain 1 guilty for being so far away. The Praetor moves up and uses Serve Warrant, making anyone that attacks him or his adjacent unit to be immediately guilty, and also gives criminal 1 less dice to roll on attacks against them. A Leech suppurates the left Slimelet, turning it into a bomb, then moves a bit left, earning a guilt. Slithering Cultist then kisses the Praetor, giving him 1 painful devil damage in exchange for 2 strength tokens on him. The other host goes and ratted everywhere, gets a guilt for social distancing. The other Mancatcher goes through the pile unscathed, and just smashes the Slimelets out of existence, both of them, because one of them was a bomb. Then it bursts to attack the Leech but miss, only grazing for 1. Then Mancatcher gains 2 burst with make quota from killing the Slimelet, but again, they weren't guilty. Volvadani are just so new, I didn't catch the mistake in time, apologies for that. Rotten moves up, gets nibbled by the body pile, and pustulates with a 5, splashing plague on everyone nearby. One of the Bobby move, then burst to move again through hazard, taking damage, uses Bloodhound on a host and gains 1 burst on its attack. The Plague Lord gains a plague token for being a sick boy, moves up, and uses Virulence on the Praetor to explode his plague tokens, a bad move, since he misses and the graze is blocked by armor, getting 2 guild for attacking and being away in the process. The other Bobby moves up, bursts to move again through hazard, and tries to clamp down the Plague Lord, but its body blocked by the Rotten, immobilizing it and giving it vulnerable instead. Round 1 ended, and round 2 began with both sides gain 1 more soul. The bottom host moves forward and scatters all the rats again. Praetor starts his turn, but before he can even move, the Plague Lord spends 3 souls for Unholy Vapor, testing if the Praetor has really good healthcare, and apparently he does thanks to the cultist body blocking this. The Praetor then moves up and fires the Judicator cannon on the Rotten, but miss, then fire it again by burning himself thanks to Fueled by Hate, which does hit this time, turning the Rotten into charcoal with strength, and splash 1 vulnerable to the nearby Plague Lord and host. Praetor gets reduced to 5 health thanks to Plague Token. The other host then moves down from the elevated platform, for some reasons, and tries to attack the bottom Bobby but only grazes instead, and gains a guild for attacking. Top Bobby goes up the body pill, passing the roll, gets in front of the top host, and wallop the rats, and thanks to the elevation and being high on drug, it's rolling 3d6, smashing the hell out of the rat, then burst again and destroy it thanks to vulnerable tokens. The host then death burst, spreading hazards underneath the Plague Lord and the Bobby. The leech goes next and use swell with corruption on the remaining host, death bursting it without actually dying and spreading even more hazards beneath the other Bobby. Slithering cultist then uses slithering flesh on the lower Bobby, giving it 2 vitality for being at half health, and then achieves social distancing to not explode from Unholy Vapor. As one last ditch effort, the Plague Lord spread out Plague Tokens to the Praetor and right Bobby to prevent body blocking, moves up the body pile for elevation but got immobilized and took 2 damage due to vulnerable, and then uses Virulence on the Praetor, dealing only 2 damage as the Praetor only has 1 Plague Token on him, reducing him to 3, gaining 2 more guilds for a total of 4 in the process. Unfortunately, the pain now begins for the Plague Lord as there's still 3 inactive Volvadani units, and at the very last turn of round 2, the Volvadani grunts finished off the Plague Lord, and the match has concluded with the Volvadani as the winner. So, let's talk about what happened. First, even if the mistakes didn't happen, the chance for Gargamox to win is still pretty low. Yes, just about every single Volvadani units have ran out of burst to attack, so the Plague Lord can survive the round, but every attack he make on the Praetor will be body blocked by the sheer amount of surviving units, and the Praetor has a shotgun. My best guess is that the match will still be dragged to round 4, and that's it. Never attack the Necromancer if they have meat shields to body block with, unless that's your goal, or you have something that just ignore body block. Anyway, onto something more general. As you can see from the match, the Volvadani can attack and engage explosively with burst, but by round 2, every unit have ran out of juice. This is something all Volvadani players need to learn to manage, or you simply die while the enemy team is still relatively intact. The way how this gameplay feels is like you spent 1 round attacking, and the other panic reloading if the match is still going. To players fighting against Volvadani, outlasting Volvadani is something you will want to do. There isn't many builds from other houses that can out DPS Volvadani in a single round, but if you have a way to survive their onslaught, you have a lot of leeways to deal with them as you see fit when they are recharging. The other thing you need to be wary of is the tithe law system. There's no avoiding becoming a criminal in the eye of Volvadani. They are fucking cop of course, but you can delay the amount of guilt you get. The Volvadani still have other ways to pin guilt on you, and guilt can be removed like any other negative tokens, but the less you have on your Necromancer, the better. Also seriously, contempt of the court is actually stupid. There's almost no avoiding it unless you play as Gore Grinder. Anyway, that's all for now. Hope ya all enjoy the revival of this old series, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe and click that notification bell button. If you want to see the videos early as well as further support my channel, you can join in my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.